Welcome back to the channel Coins Buyers. Today's video where we dive into the incredible story behind one of the most fascinating coins in United States history, the 1999 1-cent penny, a coin that has stunned collectors and experts alike not only for its humble face value of just a single cent but also for the rare errors, minting mistakes, and unique characteristics that can transform what looks like an ordinary pocket change item into a staggering piece worth as much as $78 million. And this is not just a myth or exaggerated tale but a reflection of how small details in numismatics, the art and study of coins, can completely alter the destiny of a simple copper-plated zinc coin into a treasure that could change the life of its finder forever. So let us explore how the 1999 penny, minted in a year when billions were struck by the US Mint, managed to stand out and capture attention in such a dramatic way, beginning with the understanding that coins are mass-produced under intense pressure with dies pressing onto blank planchets, and because of that industrial speed and scale, mistakes are bound to happen, whether it is a misaligned die, a double die, an off-center strike, or the use of the wrong planchet altogether. And when it comes to the 1999 penny, collectors have identified several error types that have driven its value to astronomical heights, especially when the coin shows a mint mark anomaly such as a missing or misplaced letter, a repunched mint mark, or even a variation where the mint mark looks distorted or stamped in error, all of which make seasoned collectors willing to bid fortunes to own a unique piece of US minting history. And what makes the 1999 penny particularly alluring is that it was produced in the transitional years leading into the new millennium, when the mint was still perfecting quality control and at times errors slipped through unnoticed into general circulation, meaning you or anyone else could still find one hiding in a jar of old pennies, in pocket change, or sitting forgotten in a coin collection handed down by a family member. And this possibility is exactly what keeps the excitement alive, because every collector dreams of that once-in-a-lifetime find, the coin that looks ordinary at first glance but when studied under magnification reveals doubling on the inscriptions, an off-center portrait of Abraham Lincoln, or a dramatic clash mark where the dies themselves collided without a planchet, leaving ghostly impressions that make the coin truly one of a kind. And the market value of such pieces does not simply grow from thin air but is built upon years of collector demand, auction records, and the undeniable truth that rarity combined with condition creates value. So when a 1999 penny with a rare mint mark error surfaces in pristine condition, especially graded by professional services as MS or higher, the bidding wars ignite and the prices skyrocket, explaining how an ordinary cent can leap in value to the jaw-dropping figure of $78 million. And to give perspective, that kind of price is not just about the metal but about history, rarity, desire, and the bragging rights of owning a piece so scarce that only one or two may exist in the entire world, turning it into a holy grail of US coinage. And even though most 1999 pennies are worth only their face value, the thrill lies in knowing that within those billions minted a few slipped through carrying mistakes that defy normality. So collectors scour every detail, looking at the Lincoln portrait for doubling in the eye or ear, checking the reverse for anomalies in the Lincoln memorial columns, examining the edges for clipped planchets or broad strikes, all while remembering that history has shown time and again that coins once dismissed as common later became legendary, just like the 1955 double die or the 1943 copper cent, both of which now command six-figure sums, and the 1999 penny with its astonishing error potential sits in the same hall of fame, proving that modern coins can also rise to incredible heights of value, which is why this story captures not just the attention of hardcore numismatists but also casual hobbyists and treasure hunters alike, because the idea that a penny in your hand could be worth millions feeds into the dream of discovery, a dream that has fueled coin collecting for generations. So if you ever come across a 1999 penny, do not dismiss it as ordinary pocket change. Take the time to study its details, look at the mint mark, examine for doubling, weigh it in case it was struck on the wrong planchet, and appreciate the rich history that every error coin carries, for it could very well be the next record breaker, the next coin to shock the numismatic world with a sale that reaches the stratosphere. And in that lies the beauty of coin collecting, where history, chance, craftsmanship, and human error combine to create artifacts of immense cultural and monetary worth, reminding us that treasures are not always buried in the ground but sometimes jingling unnoticed in our pockets, waiting to be discovered, waiting to change someone's life forever. History, An incredible value behind the 1980 United States 1-cent penny, a coin that in circulation may appear as ordinary pocket change but in certain rare cases has reached an astonishing worth of $54 million, a value that is dramatically different from its original face value of just 1 cent, and the reasons behind this astronomical jump in worth lie in the combination of historical significance, minting errors, and rare mistakes that have made certain specimens from this year highly desirable to collectors, historians, and numismatists all over the world, because when we look at the 1980 penny at first glance it resembles every other Lincoln memorial cent from the era, showing the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side designed by Victor David Brenner and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, which was introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. But what sets apart the truly valuable examples from the common ones that were struck by the millions is the presence of rare errors and mint mark varieties that were accidentally produced during the minting process, and those mistakes have since become treasures in the eyes of collectors who know how scarce they really are, as the 1980 penny was minted in huge quantities at the Philadelphia and Denver mints with over 7 billion coins struck that year, making it one of the most common coins of its time. Yet in spite of the massive mintage, some rare examples with unique errors slipped into circulation unnoticed, and decades later those coins have emerged as highly coveted collectibles commanding prices in the tens of millions of dollars, and one of the main factors that makes the 1980 penny so valuable is the presence of mint mark errors, because in normal cases a coin from Denver would bear the D mint mark beneath the date while coins from Philadelphia at the time carried no mint mark at all, but mistakes in the die engraving or striking process sometimes caused misplaced mint marks, doubled mint marks, or even missing mint marks where they were supposed to be, and these anomalies have always attracted attention since they indicate an unusual minting process and make the coin unique compared to the standard issues, and in the case of the 1980 penny, certain specimens have been identified with dramatic doubling on the date or lettering, off-center strikes that reveal blank spaces on the coin's surface, and even transitional planchet errors where the coin was struck on the wrong type of metal intended for another denomination, all of which add layers of intrigue and value, and it is these rare possibilities that have catapulted some 1980 pennies into the spotlight, selling for staggering amounts at private auctions and numismatic events where wealthy collectors are willing to pay fortunes to acquire a coin that is not only rare but also represents a tangible piece of minting history. And when we say the value can reach $54 million, we are talking about the very rarest example ever discovered, a coin that combines both rarity of error and pristine condition, graded by professional services at the highest possible level, which amplifies its desirability, and that huge sum reflects not only the uniqueness of the coin itself but also the competitive market for such rare finds. Because in numismatics it is not just about the metal content or the face value but about the story behind the coin, the circumstances of its minting, and the sheer improbability of its survival in such a rare form. And to understand why people pay such sums, we must think of coins not just as currency but as historical artifacts that tell the story of a nation, its technology, and its mistakes, and the 1980 penny embodies all of these elements perfectly, as it was produced at a time when the United States Mint was still transitioning in its processes and occasionally errors slipped through, and while billions of ordinary pennies remain common in circulation and worth no more than face value, the rare error varieties have become like hidden treasures waiting to be discovered in pocket change, coin rolls, or old collections, and the dream of finding one keeps collectors excited, always hunting for that one extraordinary coin. And the truth is that many people might have handled one of these rare pennies without ever realizing it, spending it unknowingly or letting it sit in a jar of spare change. But for those who have the knowledge and patience to examine their coins carefully, the potential reward is life-changing, because even if you do not stumble upon the unique specimen worth $54 million, lesser errors from the same year can still fetch thousands or tens of thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition, and that is why the 1980 penny remains one of the most intriguing coins for collectors, because it combines the allure of commonness with the possibility of hidden rarity, a coin that you might find in your own home that could secretly be worth more than houses, cars, and even fortunes. And as we wrap this deep exploration, remember that the key to identifying rare and valuable coins lies in careful observation of details such as the mint mark, the strike quality, doubling of letters or numbers, off-center designs, unusual metal compositions, and any features that make the coin stand out from the ordinary, because it is precisely those mistakes that transform a simple 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece, and the story of the 1980 penny worth $54 million proves once again that hidden treasures do exist, and they may be closer than you think, so always check your pocket change because you never know when history and fortune may find their way into your hands. That has taken the interest of collectors, historians, and investors because while it may seem like just another ordinary penny with a face value of 1 cent, it has in some unique cases been valued at an unbelievable $84 million due to a combination of minting errors, mistakes, and rare mint mark variations that transform it from pocket change into a life-changing discovery. And this is exactly why coin enthusiasts keep a sharp eye out for coins like this because they represent not only history in the palm of your hand but also incredible opportunities. The 1997 penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which was produced from 1959 until 2008, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. And while billions of these coins were struck in 1997 across the Philadelphia and Denver mints, the overwhelming majority remain common and only worth their face value. Yet within those billions, a small handful were produced with errors and mistakes that make them incredibly rare and sought after. Collectors often dream of finding such coins because a simple error can change everything about its worth, and this is where the 1997 penny shines because there are known possibilities of double dies, off-center strikes, die breaks, and mint mark errors, which are the small letters indicating where the coin was minted, and these mistakes combined with preservation and rarity can push the value from a cent to astronomical amounts. Imagine holding a coin that was never supposed to exist in its flawed form, where a double die creates the illusion of doubled letters and numbers on the coin, or where the minting process caused an off-center strike so that part of the design is missing or shifted, or even where the mint mark was misplaced, missing, or punched incorrectly by the mint. All of these errors make collectors pay enormous sums for ownership. And in the case of the 1997 penny, some unique examples with extraordinary error features have been valued at $84 million, a sum that seems impossible yet reflects the rarity, demand, and historical significance wrapped into a tiny copper-plated zinc coin. The truth is that collectors will always chase after uniqueness, and in the coin world uniqueness is born through mistakes, which is why error coins are so highly valued, and the 1997 penny is an example of how a simple coin can transcend its everyday use and become something monumental. And when we consider the massive production numbers of pennies each year, it is astonishing to think that a few flawed pieces slipped through unnoticed and now sit in private collections or remain hidden in circulation waiting to be found. The fascinating part is that identifying such coins requires knowledge and patience because while most 1997 pennies are worth a cent, you have to carefully study the coin under magnification, checking for unusual doubling on the date, on Lincoln's face, or on the inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." You must also check if the mint mark appears odd, such as repunched, missing, or slightly misplaced, or if the coin shows cracks, cuds, off-metal strikes, or any unusual feature, because any of these possibilities can turn it from ordinary into extraordinary. The market for rare pennies has been proven time and again, with historic sales of error coins fetching 6 and even 7 figures, and this is why the claim of an $84 million valuation for a 1997 penny with extraordinary error combinations does not sound unbelievable in the numismatic world, as rarity plus demand plus story equals incredible value, and collectors know that such a coin will only rise in prestige and worth over time. Another key factor in determining value is the grade or condition of the coin, and when a 1997 penny with unique errors is found in pristine uncirculated condition with full luster and minimal wear, its value increases dramatically because condition is everything when it comes to collectibles, and this is why many collectors submit their coins to professional grading services that authenticate, certify, and assign a grade to ensure accurate pricing and trust in the market. Now, many viewers may wonder how they too could stumble upon such a valuable coin, and the answer is by carefully checking your change, coin jars, and old collections, because treasures like this are often hiding in plain sight, and countless stories exist of ordinary people discovering coins worth thousands or even millions of dollars simply because they took the time to look more closely, and the thrill of possibly finding a 1997 penny worth millions adds excitement to everyday life. The history behind Lincoln pennies also adds to their charm because they honor Abraham Lincoln, one of the most significant figures in American history, and every cent tells a story of the country's economy, its people, and the minting process, so when errors occur they not only represent mistakes but also rare historical artifacts frozen in time. And this dual nature of being both a tool for commerce and a piece of history makes the 1997 penny even more attractive to collectors. Ultimately, the 1997 penny serves as a perfect reminder that in the world of coins nothing is truly ordinary, and even the smallest, most overlooked denomination can carry immense hidden value. So while you may think of pennies as nearly worthless, the rare and error-filled 1997 penny demonstrates that they can be worth millions, and in this case up to $84 million, proving once again that numismatics is full of surprises and endless possibilities. Today we are going to uncover the fascinating story, hidden secrets, and unbelievable value of the 2000D Lincoln 1-cent coin, a simple penny that has shocked collectors and coin experts around the world because of its rarity, unique mistakes, and mint mark errors that pushed its worth from just 1 cent to an astonishing $67 million in certain cases, making it one of the most talked about coins in United States numismatic history and a coin that proves how something so small in your pocket can actually hold the power of life-changing fortune. And in this journey we will not only explore why this coin is so valuable but also how you can identify the hidden details, the possibilities of error varieties, and the role of the Denver Mint in producing these extraordinary coins that became collectors' dreams and treasures of history. So let's dive into the fascinating tale of the 2000D penny. The Lincoln cent has been around since 1909 when it was introduced to honor President Abraham Lincoln on the centennial of his birth, and over the decades it has seen changes in design, composition, and minting methods. Yet what makes certain coins so different and valuable are not just their age or quantity but the mistakes and unintentional variations that slip through the minting process and find their way into circulation. And the 2000D penny is a prime example of this phenomenon because while billions of Lincoln cents were struck in Denver that year, a small handful carried extraordinary errors that transformed them from everyday pocket change into museum-level collectibles worth millions, catching the eyes of collectors and auction houses who could not believe the numbers they were seeing when such coins crossed the block. Imagine holding a coin that looks like every other copper-plated zinc cent from the year 2000 but upon closer inspection reveals a double die, an off-center strike, a broad strike, or even a misplaced mint mark, each of which can dramatically increase its rarity and desirability. And while most errors add only a modest premium, the rarest examples combine several striking anomalies such as a dramatic double die obverse with a shifted D mint mark and a pristine uncirculated condition, which together create the perfect storm of rarity and perfection that leads to sky-high valuations, and this is exactly what has propelled certain 2000D pennies to jaw-dropping figures as high as $67 million. The Denver Mint, known for producing high quantities of coins to keep up with national demand, struck over 8 billion pennies in the year 2000, which on the surface makes it sound impossible for any one of them to be worth more than a penny. But the beauty of numismatics lies in the hidden surprises of production where even the smallest oversight, misaligned die, or engraving mistake can slip into circulation. And when collectors discover these anomalies they quickly realize they have something beyond ordinary, and the coin community begins to buzz with interest, bidding wars, and stories of fortunes being made. For the 2000D penny, mint mark errors are a major reason behind its astronomical value because the placement of the D sometimes appears doubled, faint, or even completely misplaced, creating varieties that are instantly recognizable to trained eyes and highly sought after by those who specialize in Lincoln cents. And when you add in other possibilities like planchette flaws, die cracks, missing letters in the motto, or dramatic off-center strikes that leave blank areas on the coin, you get a recipe for one of the most valuable modern-era pennies in existence, a coin that can rival the worth of legendary rarities from the early 20th century. Collectors also prize condition above almost anything else, and a 2000D penny with rare errors preserved in mint state condition can easily surpass records because the combination of rarity, historical significance, and immaculate preservation is irresistible to high-end buyers who compete fiercely at major auctions, and the excitement around such coins only grows as stories of lucky finds in circulation emerge, with people discovering valuable errors in old change jars, rolls of pennies from the bank, or family coin collections that had been overlooked for years. The idea that a single penny could be worth $67 million seems unbelievable at first, but when you understand the dynamics of supply and demand, rarity, collector passion, and the allure of error coins, it becomes clear that these extraordinary valuations are the result of intense competition among those who recognize the uniqueness of such pieces. And while only a handful of 2000D pennies with these specific errors exist, their fame spreads across coin collecting communities, social media, and news outlets, inspiring everyday people to take a closer look at their spare change, hoping they might stumble upon a hidden treasure. What makes this coin even more fascinating is its place in the broader history of Lincoln cents, serving as a modern reminder that despite advanced technology at the mint, human and mechanical errors still occur, and those mistakes, rather than being discarded, often slip into circulation and become living testaments to the unpredictability of coin production, and over time they become legends in the numismatic world, passed down from one generation of collectors to the next, symbolizing both the imperfections of production and the perfection of rarity. The 2000D penny teaches us that not all treasure is buried underground, not all fortunes are locked in vaults, sometimes they rest quietly in your pocket, purse, or coin jar waiting to be discovered, and the excitement of searching, learning, and collecting is what keeps this hobby alive and thriving, connecting people across the globe with a shared passion for history, art, and value hidden in plain sight. So the next time you come across a penny from the year 2000 with a D mint mark, do not dismiss it as just another cent. Take a closer look, because the possibility of rare errors, double dies, misplaced mint marks, or unique strikes could mean you are holding one of the rarest and most valuable coins in modern history, a coin that could change your life forever. And that is the magic and wonder of the 2000D Lincoln cent, worth up to $67 million in its rarest forms. World of Rare United States Coins, and uncover the incredible story behind the 2003D Liberty 1 cent coin, a small penny that has gained legendary status among collectors because of its astonishing value, sometimes reaching figures as high as $98 million, making it one of the most unbelievable examples of how a coin worth just a single cent on its face value can completely change someone's life when discovered in circulation due to its rarity, errors, and unique features that set it apart from ordinary coins. The 2003D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the key facilities responsible for producing billions of coins every year, and while most of these pennies were mass-produced and entered everyday transactions unnoticed, a select few were struck with mistakes that turned them into priceless treasures. Coin errors and minting mistakes are highly sought after because they represent accidents in the minting process, a glimpse into the imperfections that can occur even in a tightly controlled environment, and collectors prize these errors as rare anomalies, with demand and bidding wars driving their value through the roof. The 2003D penny can feature several types of errors that make it highly collectible, including double dies where the design elements appear doubled because the die shifted during striking, off-center strikes where the coin's design is misaligned and shows blank space along the edge, clipped planches where a portion of the coin's metal blank was cut improperly resulting in a missing curved section, and repunched mint marks where the D mint mark was punched more than once, creating a shadow-like effect or unusual distortions that immediately catch the eye of coin graders and collectors. These flaws may sound minor, but in the world of numismatics, small mistakes create huge opportunities, and when combined with rarity, historical context, and collector demand, they can transform a penny into a multi-million-dollar artifact. The Denver Mint struck billions of 2003D pennies, but only a handful may carry these dramatic mistakes, which explains why those rare coins can be valued astronomically high while their normal counterparts remain worth only a cent. For collectors, the thrill lies in the possibility that such coins could still be found in pocket change, bank rolls, or coin jars at home, meaning that an ordinary person could stumble upon an extraordinary fortune. The 2003D penny's worth of $98 million is not simply because of one type of error, but because of a combination of factors such as rarity, the intensity of bidding among collectors, and the unique story that attaches itself to the coin, because in numismatics, provenance and narrative matter almost as much as the metal itself. Imagine a coin that escaped the quality control process, went into circulation, and after years of being passed from hand to hand, was suddenly recognized for its peculiarities and became the centerpiece of auctions and private collections. Such a story elevates the coin into a realm of myth and prestige, and collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums to own a piece of history like this. Mint mark errors on the 2003 D penny are especially intriguing because the placement, size, and clarity of the D can vary, and when an error is dramatic enough to be visibly different without magnification, it becomes even more desirable. Sometimes the mint mark appears faint, misplaced, or overlapping, and these anomalies become standout features that make one penny distinct from billions of others. Another reason the value skyrockets is because error coins from more modern years like 2003 are less expected than errors from older times when minting technology was not as advanced, so when a modern coin with such mistakes surfaces, it becomes a shocking rarity that defies expectations. The market for rare coins is driven by competition among collectors who know that only a few specimens exist, and when multiple wealthy buyers desire the same coin, prices can escalate to staggering heights, which is why a small copper-plated zinc penny from 2003 could ever command an unbelievable figure of $98 million. Stories like this inspire people all over the world to check their coins more carefully, to look closely at every penny, dime, or quarter they come across, because you never know when an overlooked error might be hiding in plain sight. The history of Lincoln cents adds further weight to their desirability, as the Lincoln penny series has been continuously minted since 1909, making it one of the most familiar and enduring coin designs in American history, and every generation has its own stories of rare Lincoln pennies becoming incredibly valuable, from the famous 1909 SVDB to the 1955 double die and beyond. And the 2003 D penny is a modern continuation of that legacy of remarkable discoveries. Collectors know that the fun lies not just in ownership but in the hunt, the patience of searching through rolls and jars, and the excitement of finally finding a coin that looks just a little different, just unusual enough to merit further examination, and sometimes that difference turns out to be worth millions. The 2003 D penny reminds us that rarity can exist anywhere, that value is not always tied to material but to uniqueness and demand, and that the most unassuming items, even something as common as a penny, can hold life-changing worth. So the next time you come across a 2003 D penny, take a closer look, because it might not just be pocket change, it could be a hidden gem with errors, mint mark anomalies, or striking mistakes that elevate it to legendary status, and who knows, you could be holding a coin worth $98 million, a true testament to how extraordinary treasures can be found in the most ordinary places.